warm welcome from Barcelona. You're listening to episode 43 of the Barcelona Virtual Podcast on European Marketing and Innovation.
I'm your host, Paul Fleming, joined today in the studio by my co-host, Alejandro Molina. Ale, it's hard to believe we've already crossed the line into fall. It promises to be quite challenging.
The summer break seems far away, but I really recharged my batteries, ready for what's coming.
Well, because of current headlines worldwide, it seems we're once again traveling into uncharted waters with storm clouds hovering. Whether you are listening to us as an entrepreneur, CEO, marketer, sales, I'm sure you know what that means.
For example, Paul?
Quite simply, it's time to rise to yet another challenge. Take your vitamins, clear your mind, do your strategy push-ups, get in shape.
And, as you always say, here in the agency, keep your focus.
Absolutely, Ale. Focus on your vision, take special care of your team, eyes on the prize. In fact, for those of us who have gone through other crises, such as the dot-com bubble, the 2008 crash, and COVID, we're actually quite trained. Still, in the team, we thought it would be a good idea to pass on some very practical and actionable tips to our listeners to equip us all.
I think the name of this episode says it all. 5 ways you can profit from the coming challenges. I'm ready for a good workout. Let's go.
The following content is brought to you by Derby Hotels Collection, European luxury hotels. Enjoy a special 10% discount in London, Barcelona, and Madrid with the code BVAlexa at derbyhotels.com.
Perhaps you could explain which 5 areas we feel could be especially important for marketing, business, and even innovation in the time ahead.
Great, Paul. We'll be sharing a series of time-tested tips, as well as the latest technologies for digital strategy, e-commerce, video and voice, email marketing, and innovation.
Before we dive in, I've asked Carrie to give us a quick overview of the principal challenges we will be facing, especially during the fall and winter. So, Carrie, over to you.
Hello, Paul. I did take a look, and to be honest, it gives one a true sense of déjà vu. Haven't we been here quite recently? Or is this the new normal?
Oh man, I hear the frustration of so many business leaders echoed in your words. And to be honest, the previous problems caused by the lockdowns are beginning to seem rather tame when we compare them to this moment.
It makes for very grim reading indeed. Paralyzed supply chains, the pipeline crisis, rampant inflation, Ukraine, and the threat of a larger global war. To be honest, it's all a bit too much. I'm depending on your measured optimism.
Yeah, Carrie, well, you know that my point of view is that good data can always give us a sense of sure footing in confusing times. So could you share some details of what you're seeing?
To begin with, the general consensus is to expect a bleak, austere Christmas. Back in the UK, this is shown in a recent survey. The number of people feeling very negative about Christmas is almost 5 times higher than this time last year, and 4 in 10 Brits are worried about affording Christmas.
Very little ho ho ho.
As Julia Ayling, head of research for that survey, puts it, all brands, even those that have traditionally been fully recession-proof, will need to adapt to this.
Might I add something here? In their Future of Strategy report, WARC has found that 86% of strategists from leading agencies anticipate the cost of living crisis will have a major impact in the next year. And 69% believe that it will be at the center of marketing communications.
They also note that a demand for people like us, strategists, innovators, and problem solvers, is rising amidst so much turbulence.
Carrie, could you also mention some of those stats from that great opinion piece last month by consultant Faris Jacob?
It's excellent, I agree. For starters, the last time inflation was this high was in the 1970s. Citibank even projects it may rise in Great Britain from 10% now to 19% by January. He also reports that 40% of households in the UK will experience fuel poverty this winter, which means choosing between food or heat for their families.
I don't mean to be too wry, but that is truly sobering. Food for thought.
Well, team, I detect a bit of silence in the studio after that first part. And look, we haven't even touched other subjects such as Ukraine, possible civil disturbances, possible additional wars. And that said, Carrie, we always mix optimism and hope in times like these. In fact, because I and my business partner, Pep, have personally lived through 4 crises to date, with a potential 5th crisis looming, we do know that it is possible to not only survive, but also to thrive.
Precisely. Those 5 crises have taught us the 5 strategies we'll now share, along with Henry, if he can make it. He's out on an important data integration project. Alejandro will be back in a moment as well.
Okay, well, thanks for the heads up on that. I'd also add that several previous episodes of this podcast, now in its 4th season, contain very actionable ideas, strategies that will help many listeners today.
As always, we put these links and resources up on our blog at blog.bevirtual.com. The program notes for this episode, which is Season 4, Episode 8, can be found in the podcast section.
It's clear that time is too limited to go deeply into each of the 5 focus areas we'll now discuss. However, we do have a wealth of content with detailed practical examples you can use to meet these challenges.
Just this week in our IT department, we updated the agency homepage with 5 posts to do just that. Anyone visiting bevirtual.com will find them the minute they enter the web, right below the opening animation.
Oh, you're already back, Henry. Welcome. And thanks for mentioning that. So, Carrie, let's begin with number 1, digital strategy. What's our key recommendation there?
That's very easy. In fact, it's such an important point that it applies both to digital strategy as well as e-commerce. George will cover that in a minute. As we plan for uncertain times and budgets, it's essential to get the very most out of each euro invested. That's why it is so crucial to first identify and then cultivate a long-term relationship between your brand and your most profitable customers.
The 20% of your customers that cause 80% of your business.
Exactly. These people will buy again and again, remain loyal, and recruit others, a sort of invisible sales team. Therefore, it is extremely important to know them well, to understand their digital lifestyle and innovate based on this data.
How does that apply to e-commerce?
The lockdowns caused millions to purchase online, yet not all returned. And it's here that our more technical side shines. That's because databases can store consumers' basic information, purchase history and many other details, such as devices, smartphone, smart speakers or smart TVs. Once we have separated the most profitable customers from the rest, we can then get to work.
Do I hear the word relevance, George?
Precisely. We can then segment, personalize and deliver marketing and sales information to the very best consumers on the right channels. And at the right time.
Henry, how about some e-commerce trends? What are we focusing on technically?
I'd mention things like regaining lost revenue from abandoned carts, informing customers when something is back in stock, and in a more macro way, the idea of X-commerce. This is the new definition for ubiquitous shopping. People are buying anywhere, in any way and at any time with new devices and channels. We're really looking into that.
Paul, I'm excited to cover the 3rd point, video and voice. We have some very cool surprises for our listeners. Not only are we chatting right now in our new studio here in Barcelona.
Careful. Spoiler alert.
That's right. But here's a teaser. Coming soon, the BV Story Studio, right here in-house.
Could you perhaps give us a little hint about that, Paul?
Let's see. Well, as Ali implies, both video and voice are more important every day, most especially because so much tech and automation, while perfecting speedy customer service, also leaves precisely those customers who are our absolute VIPs in terms of sales, with a yearning for more. And they're yearning for the human side. They want to know your brand story, they want to meet your team face to face, even learn from your podcast while they're running.
And for e-commerce, Clear and concise product videos, testimonials and explainer videos raise conversion to sales quite effectively.
That's right, George. So the BV Story Studio is extending our focus more deeply into video to complement our sound studio with a video studio right next to the creative department. Some data. 62% of consumers watch product review videos before making a purchase, and the conversion rate to sales increases 80% when you have a video on a landing page.
Seeing the clock just now, it would be good to proceed to a fourth tip: email marketing. I used to be skeptical, but today I affirm that email is essential.
George, any magic formula for getting better results in the inbox?
When it comes to email marketing, we have a wealth of helpful advice, not only from decades of experience, but also thanks to our strategic partner, Selligent. Key points I would underscore. Email deliverability is the very most important one, to ensure that your customers receive your communication, whilst your brand is ensured a solid reputation amongst the major ISPs.
What we always recommend to our clients is for them to keep contact databases clean by eliminating people who never open mails or rarely engage with their brand. And the subject line is super important. I put up a link on our blog to an article with some solid tips.
As we wrap up...
Don't forget the new team members coming from the Innovation Lab.
Oh yes, thanks for that reminder, Ale. Our fifth tip is to always focus on innovation, even in a day-to-day Kaizen process of continuous improvement. Hence, the BV Innovation Lab. This is a quote-unquote safe space we've created for our clients, both to optimize their results with intelligent marketing best practices and also to learn about the very latest trends and technologies.
Learning by doing.
That's right. So for this reason, we're partnering with our friends at Feeder using neuromarketing to pre-test both video and creative visuals. Their platform allows a CMO to protect her marketing investment by studying the emotional analytics before she makes a media buy. And the software uses AI to produce real-time KPIs, beautiful charts in real time, with the sample as low as 50 to 100 people, and clearly showing if these people have reactions that are positive, uninterested, or even negative. Look for the link in the program notes of this episode.
By the way, who are the new team members Alejandro mentioned?
That would be Pere, which means Peter in Catalan, by the way, as a new voice application developer for Alexa, for example, as well as Lorenz, who will expand our possibilities via VR in the BV Story Studio. We're investing in both areas, as well as in human innovation, to meet these challenges we see before us. Come rain or come shine, I encourage you to always innovate, and to also keep the flame burning brightly for the visions and dreams that we all have as innovators and entrepreneurs. Thanks for joining us here today.
Hasta luego. See you next time.
Remember to check out our other flash briefings in the podcast section of our blog. Many of the episodes include very interesting chats with European innovators and entrepreneurs. Till then, goodbye from Spain.
This flash briefing is brought to you by Barcelona Virtual, a European internet pioneer. To visit us, type the letter B together with virtual.com. That's bvirtual.com.